Hello and welcome to the 24th episode, and welcome back to Skåne, or rather Denmark and the island of Zealand. I'm your host James Gaming, and I'm playing Transport Fever today. So let's unpause the game. It's 1880, and for the second time in history, the most innovative railway solution is about to open. This is Gribskovbanen. And we see a very odd little fellow slowly struggling to leave the engine shed, and we need to adjust its orders a little bit to actually get it out on the line. So let's wait until it turns around and remove the turnaround. There we go, and we are turning around. And let's jump on board. Look at this marvel of speed. So, well, the maximum speed is 30 kilometers an hour, or 19 miles an hour. So the first station that we are about to reach is Kastel, a village with two stations actually, on Gribskovbanen. The village is first mentioned in 1299. And ahead we can see the future line to Gilleleje, but that is far into the future. Grested is a good example of what can happen to a sleepy little village when the railway arrives. In just a few years, the cooperative movement started a shop, a dairy, a flour mill, a bakery, and a local bank here. And private industries were also started, a furniture factory, brickworks, and a lumber mill. And within a few years, both textile and machine industries were added to the mix. Nowadays, however, the village is mostly known for the veteran motor meeting and the fact that the previous Danish Prime Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen lives here. Gribskovbanen's first piece, the 20-kilometer between Hillerød and Grested, was opened in January 1880, followed by the 6 kilometers from Grested to Gilleleje in May 1896, the 6 kilometers from Kerup to Helsinge in June 1897, and the 10 kilometers from Helsinge to Tisvildeleje in July 1924. The last one of these is mainly outside the maps. I'm not sure if it included in a future episode or not. So, the story about the concept. Frederick James Rowan was born in County Antrim, Ireland in 1817, and after working for the Great Western Railway, he arrived in Canada in the 1850s and was given responsibility for one of the 4 pieces of the Grand Trunk Railway of Canada. When back in Europe, he worked for Pito, Brassey and Betts with railway construction in the Duchy of Schleswig and in Jutland. And eventually he bought the company's machine shop and left it to his son William Robert Rowan to run. William Robert Rowan was 31 years old when his father put him in charge of Scandia, and he had some ideas of his own. And it has in Scandinavia been named after him, the Rowan's type, or Rowan's system. The idea is to build a railway as cheap as ever possible with a very weak trackbed, weak rails and very light trains. For passenger service, a steam rail car was developed. That's basically what we are on, even though there are not really any such thing in the game, as far as I can find. Basically a passenger carriage with a detachable engine powered one of the bogies. And here we can see the future connection to Helsinge and Tisvildeleje on the right. And there's a large sawmill as well that used to have a rail connection just at this junction. The next stop is Kerup, tiny village, a good walk from the station, Kærop station was used as a location in the Danish movies Spøgelsestoget, Ghost Train, from 1976, and Krummene from 1991. And also in the commercial Bestefar with Harry and Barnson, which will be like grandfather with Harry and Rail son. Until the early 1990s, all north-going trains were split here at Kærop, and all south-going trains were joined here. A complicated process that eventually was abolished. Anyway, the first test of these new ideas of Rowan was done on Randers Halsund Railway in Denmark, and shortly after it was time for Gribskovbanen that we are on right now. And between the trees there you can see the Gribsö, or Gribs Lake. Gribskovbanen was named after the forest it runs through, same as the lake by the way. The forest is called Gribskov, or Gribs Forest. As most of Denmark used to be agriculture land, there are no forests. Gribskov is the fourth largest forest in Denmark and has since medieval times been used as a hunting ground for royals and bishops, and that is the reason why this forest still actually exists. And I thought we were going to see some deers, but we might have passed them actually. So back to the story, the main issue with the steam rail car was that the engine was very weak, but still strong enough to cause heavy wearing on the wagons because they weren't really constructed to have an engine inside. Most wagons were rebuilt into normal passenger carriages within 10 years, and for freight trains, special very light locomotives were constructed to allow freight on these tracks. A few lines in Denmark were built according to Rowan's system, and 5 lines in Skåne. All were later rebuilt to allow heavier trains, as the setup might be a cheap solution to get a railway, but the weak track bed didn't accommodate freight well. One wagon of Rowan's type was exported to Australia though. I will post a link to a picture in the description if anyone is curious on what the construction might look like. And in the distance we can see Frederiksborg Castle, the largest Renaissance castle in Scandinavia, or at least its towers. I need to prepare a ride on Norrbanen at some point in time, because I don't think that was ever done, at least not with facts about it. Episodes 5, 6 and 7 show work building that line, but no cab ride, oh there we have a train, no cab ride was ever done as far as I can remember. And that will add some more info on Hillerød, I assume, because we are now heading to Hillerød station. And I hope the Rowan and steam carriage information added something to this episode. More on Rowan's system in the next episode actually, where we dig deep into some unexpected lines. So thank you for watching and have a great day!